Okay, first lesson. All right, guys, welcome to the best Hebrew class ever.
Hello, Professor.
Okay, it's best because of you, the students, and it's Hebrew because of me. First thing, everybody knows how to read Hebrew. There's no issue with that. We're not going over the alphabet. We're going to start with the number one, the first rule of Hebrew. You cannot have a word that is only one letter. Okay, that's the first rule. So here are all the words that are one letter that I know of. There may be, I don't think there are anymore. So we're going to look at them first. Ha means the. Be, in or on. Le, to. Me, from. Ke, as or like. She means that, but not like in the sense of this thing, that thing, in the sense of I wanted to tell you that, blah, blah, blah. It's like a connecting word in the sentence.
Okay.
She.
Could you use ke?
Ke.
What's an example of ke?
Ke would be, oh, we're going to do examples of all in a second. So, and then ve is another connecting word that means and. So what do you do if it can't stand alone? You attach it to the following word. So if you look at one of your sheets, I gave you a sheet with some vocabulary on it. Maybe that sheet. So you see, let's grab an easy word here like yom, day. Okay. So let's do that example. So yud, vav, mem, yom. Okay. That means day. So if I want to say the day, hayom, right? If I want to say on the day, I say bayom, right? I attach it to the front of the word.
So
Does that make sense?
could you have two of them?
Yeah.
Hayom?
Good question. So if you want to say, so what, yes, you can have two of them, mehayom. Oops. Also, I can't write like this. We're going to start writing the regular way. So you get used to the way people write.
Well, script.
Yeah, the script way.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm just going to rewrite the word.
Yeah, write the script.
Yeah. Okay. Mehayom means from the day, right? From the day, right? So it looks like one word, but it's actually three words in English. Now, what happens? You would talk about on the day or to the day, right? So that is a special rule. Those two prepositions specifically, be and le, combine with ha and turn into ba and la. Okay? So I'm gonna erase this to make more space because you guys already have it anyway.
So you're saying date, hey, or memhe, or lamhe?
What I'm saying is there's a special rule for be and le, right? Be means in or on, right? So on the day, right? Let's say you want to say on the day. So you can say, when you say, what's the difference between on a day versus on the day, right? Also, there is no word for a in Hebrew, like a day, it's just day. So when you say yom, that means a day. So like yom is a day, and then hayom is the day, right? Hayom. So what happens if I want to say on a day, on a day? I don't know which day, one day, someday, on a day, right? I can say beyom, right? What if I want to say on the day, on that specific day? When I add the be, I have to remove the ha. It combines, so it becomes, it looks the same. You actually don't know which one it is, but they're pronounced differently because this one's pronounced bayom, and this one's pronounced bayom. What happens
Spelled
is
the same.
they're spelled the
So you
same.
don't know if it's
You don't actually know 100% what it is. You don't know. But you know from the context, and you know this is only for be and le are like that. So, so for example, let's say, so like that's a good example. So, so what I want to do, I'm going to say be plus ha, right, equals ba, okay? And then there's just be by itself that equals be. Does that make sense? So this is be, this is be, and this is ba. So same thing with
bayom is on the day.
On-
Bayom is on the day.
no,
On a day.
no. Bayom means on a day. On
Ba.
on a, yeah, the hey disappears completely. There's no H sound
But
whatsoever.
it changes the vowel.
Yeah, it changes the vowel to ah, from eh to ah, and it disappears altogether. It gets like eaten up by the be for some reason. It just disappears. So
If you were to put the goat on there, what would they look like?
yeah, all right. Let's do the nekudot for just this one time. Here.
Give a context for how you would use which one it is.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. So this is bayom, bayom. So this means on a day. This means on the day. On the day, bayom. Now, if you want to do le, same thing with le. Leyom. Let's do leyom. So leyom is 2 a day, or versus layom, 2 the day. Okay. Now, what happens if you want to say from a day, right? From a day or from the day.
Bayom, bayom.
Exactly. Exactly. So this one would be meyom, and this would be hayom. The ha it remains. Okay. That's the special rule for just those two prepositions. Okay. Now let's say you want to say and the day. Also, you can do that.
You sure what a lamed looks like?
Yeah, the lamed looks like this. That's the lamed. So if you want to say and the day, it's the same thing. You do ve.
Bayom.
Vehayom, and the day. And the day, right? And so forth. Okay. Wish I had a better eraser. I'll bring one next time. Yeah, maybe I'll get the tissue. Okay, so that was the first rule that I feel like I had to go over. Okay, the basics. Let's see what else we had there. Let's jump into pronouns. Okay.
I identify
Yes.
as Larry.
Well, you need to, in Hebrew, you identify as ani. Okay? That means I. Now you got, in Hebrew, you've got 4 ways to say you. Okay? The singular, and the way this is arranged is always in the same order. You've got singular first person, singular second person, singular third person. And you've got Again, first, second, third person, but in the plurals. So we go through that. So ani, okay, ata, and at. That means you. Now, one is ata is masculine, at is feminine. Ata, at. That means you, and that also means you. Masculine, feminine. Right? You might think, oh, ata ends on a. That sounds feminine because in Hebrew, words that end on a many of them tend to be feminine. In this case, it's an exception. No one knows why. At is feminine. So actually the tav at the end, the T at the end, the tav, is also a feminine ending in Hebrew. Okay. Along with the hey. The hey is a feminine ending. So, and then, but in this case, masculine. In this case, this is you masculine, ata. Ani, ata, at. Who and he. That means so who means he, and he means she. Okay. Okay. And then you've got anachnu. It's we. And then you've got two ways to say you in the plural that correspond to ata and at. So the plural of ata is atem. And the plural of at is aten. Okay? If it's a mixed group, you always use the masculine. You use the feminine only if it is a group of all females that you're speaking to.
And is that like, does that formal tense, like if you were in like a more casual sense, you would just always use the tense?
I don't think so. I think you would still use, you might use a 10, you might use a tem. You would, it's kind of a gray area when it gets to informal. Good question though. And then for them, you've also got two forms. You've got hem and hen. And hen. And that means they. Okay, masculine and feminine. Okay, so now these are the pronouns when they are as the subject of the sentence. Okay, we will learn also the pronouns that you have on the same sheet as they are when they are the object of the sentence. But really, that is a set of endings that repeat themselves over and over and over again in Hebrew, and that's what I want to show you right now. These are kind of like endings that you can put on any pronoun, any preposition, any noun in order to embed this pronoun in that word. And this is what the ending is. Okay? I'm going to use arrows.
So this is we're converting subjects to direct objects.
No, in this case, I'm just showing you the ending. Okay? This is just the ending that corresponds. What do I mean by ending? You see what I mean in a second. The ending, so for ani, the ending at the end of the word, you got the word, and then the ending is yud. You've got the word, and then the ending is ha. Okay? E. So this is E, this is ha, this is ach. So word plus, again, it looks the same, but this feminine is pronounced ach.
What's
or ech.
What is that letter?
Let's see.
I don't know if that's script.
This one is, it's the end kaf. So that's a kaf. The kaf at the end is like that. So that makes it sound k or ch. At the end, it's always ch, except for very specific exceptions, I suppose, from like scripture and stuff. But so the endings are I, cha, ech. For who, okay, the ending is going to be the vav.
Kaf, kaf, Sophie, but with cha.
Yeah, exactly. And then now this one for who, is going to be the vav. You add the vav, and the ending is o. Okay. The ending for he, that's going to be the hey. You add the hey, and the ending and the sound that makes is ah. For anachnu, the ending is going to be nu or anu, I should say anu, and then for atem, it's going to be chem, and chen for the feminine, and hem, and there's two versions of it basically, but say am. We'll do am first because it corresponds to this one. So on.
So this hem and hen, what is that?
Yeah, chem and hen. This one or this one?
Both,
Chem.
or they?
Yeah, these correspond to atem and aten. Atem, the ending is chem, and aten, the ending is chen. Okay. And then for hem, the ending will be am, like a mem sofit, and this will be nun sofit. Okay. So the actual endings, you will learn them perfectly because you'll see them everywhere, over and over and over and over again. Now,
So this is
no,
this is like verb agreement, verb pronoun.
it's not, has nothing to do with the verbs actually. This is something that doesn't exist anywhere else in any language. This is just Hebrew. This is something unique to Hebrew and Arabic and Semitic languages. So we've got these endings. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, it goes by the pronouns. So here's how we use it. So I'm going to erase this, which is just the pronunciation. So we're gonna input into the blank. We're gonna fill in the blank here with and we have the ending, so that we see how it works. Okay. It's like a mathematical formula, you know. So let's say we take one of the words that we had before. We're going to take the word le, which was always attached to another word, right? In this case, we're adding another letter to it, or a number of letters, so we have no issue with it standing alone. We'll get to these later. Let's say I put a lamed in here. And I add this ending. Lamed, yud. Yeah, that, exactly. Li, to me. Lecha. To you. Lecha. Lach. Same thing, to you, but for a girl. Who? You add the vav, which makes an O sound, so that becomes lo. To him. To her. You add the lamed, you add the hey, you get la. To her. Anachnu. You add the lamed, that means lanu. To us. Lanu. To us. Atem lachem. To y'all. for men.
We're in Philly,
Use. So, or use for female, okay? Lachen. And then for this one, for hem, we do lahem and lahen for feminine. Now you will also see another form of these endings which is used with other, so in other words, there's another ending which is am and an. Yeah, in this case it is. Sometimes it is like hem and sometimes it's am. So now we can look at another one. We have a word in Hebrew which is unique to Hebrew, which is et. Okay, let's see what happens when we take the word et. Okay, so what is et? I'm just going to do a quick aside over here. Okay, the word is spelled aleph, tav, et. Okay, this word has no translation in English or any other language.
that's a top.
Yeah, that's just my handwriting. Yeah, it's not a pretty one, but it is. That is how it looks. It's okay. Et is basically like a grammatical marker in the sentence that tells you that what's going after it is going to be a direct object of the sentence. Okay. But the rule is you only use it with definite article. So, in other words, with a specific noun. Okay, so
Sorry, one more time.
Yes.
Signals.
et signals that what's following that word is going to be a specific, like definite article, like a definite noun or person. Okay, so specific person. So for example,
That's like a proper noun.
exactly, yeah, a proper noun, or it can be any noun that is definite, right, versus indefinite. So if you say like the something versus a something, right, like the house versus a the best, right? So if you let's say let's do, for example, I'm going to erase this to make more space. We're going to go into et. So let's say you have a, let's say
So you never say et yom, it's et hayom.
you would do exactly. You say et hayom. If that's the only thing you do, you cannot say et yom. You can't. That you can't do. So you never use it if it's an indefinite noun, like something that's not specific. Now, what happens if it's a person's name? Well, before you say their name, you say et. Okay? So now that's if it's used as an object, not a subject, right? It's only if it's the object of a sentence. We'll see that as an example in the sentence. So for example, I want to say, I want to pick a simple sentence because we're just starting out. So let's say,
Quick pause.
yeah, yeah, no problem.
Complex sentence.
Okay, I'll pause the video. Yeah, recording again. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's take an example of et using the verb love. So just for this lesson right now, before we get into verbs and everything, forget about conjugating or anything. Just learn this one word as a vocabulary word. That word is ohev. Ohev means loves. Means for male in this case. So ohev, loves. Okay. So now we're gonna take an example sentence. Let's say, what does the guy love? What does he love? Pick something from the list. Does he love the food? The food, the what?
Lamb. We love lamb.
Lamb. I love lamp. Okay. Now we'll say he loves the food. Okay. Who ohev. Okay. Now if I write he loves food in general, right? Like he just loves food. I would just write ochel. Hu ohev ochel. Okay? Hu ohev ochel. Okay? If I want to say he loves this specific food that we're talking about that's on the table, whoops, I spelled who wrong here. Hu ohev
Yeah. I was gonna do top to bottom.
Okay, hu ohev et ha'ochel. He loves the food.
Would you not say hu ohev ha'ochel?
No,
You need et.
that is grammatically incorrect.
Got it.
Hu, no, I'm sorry. Hu ohev ochel is grammatically correct.
Hu ohev ha'ochel.
No. Hu ohev et ha'ochel.
No. It's
You cannot say hu ohev ha'ochel. You cannot say that in Hebrew. That's grammatically incorrect. It's missing this word. The word is et. Okay? What et tells you is that the following word is going to be a definite direct object. It is a definite noun and a direct object of the sentence. Okay, direct object of the verb. Okay, so basically, et is almost always followed by ha. It's always et ha. And when people speak quickly in modern Hebrew, sometimes it flows together and turns into ta. They just say hohev ta'och. Like it blends together in speech. Sometimes you listen, you're like, how do they speak so fast in Hebrew? Well, it's because we blend everything together like a big salad.
yeah, I mean they do that in Spanish.
We do that in English all the time. We say, instead of like going to, gonna, wanna, etc. We do that all the time. So it's similar, but it's a lot of times it's et ha. When would you use et without ha? If he says, give me a name. Who have et Elizabeth. He loves Elizabeth. Who have et Elizabeth. Because you're a specific person.
Is that true for any proper noun, not just human, like, mamash?
Yes.
Okay, not the
Or like Philadelphia.
Yes. Yes, because you're talking about something specific.
Anything that would be a capital letter.
Yes. Anything that would be like a capital letter in English that's a specific proper noun, you don't put ha in front of it because you wouldn't put the in front of a proper noun, but you still need et. Okay, so that's how et works. I think that kind of makes sense as a general thing. We'll look at that more later. But now let's come back to our endings here, right? That are all basically pronouns. What does it mean? What do these endings mean? Those are the same pronouns that we looked at before in the form of endings that are attached to the end of the word, right? So they're basically modifying that word for this pronoun. So in this case, we're going to take et, and we're going to use that. And that's what you have in the chart below. And what those words are, those are the pronouns as direct objects. They're built out of the word et. But in this case, we add a vav in the middle, but the root of that is et. And so you would do this, and you get the word ot, which is me as a direct object.
Wait. Okay. So we are adding et to our suffixes and we're making direct objects.
Yeah, the direct, we're making, yeah, et, for the purposes of this, et, which et is like say that's like the root here, okay? That's like the root. Because what's the meaning of et? The meaning of et is nothing. It doesn't have a meaning other than direct object. And so you take that word, et, it becomes ot, okay? And then you add the same pronoun endings that we had before that we added to the lamed. And so instead of li, we get ot. Instead of lecha, we get otcha.
You wouldn't say ohev et or ti.
ohev, ohev, oti, oti.
You would just say OT.
Right. You don't need, this is already et. This is already et. So how would you say the next one? Would you take a guess? If I take ha, the ending is ha. The ha means you. What ha means at the end of a word is you in the you second person, right? So you masculine, singular. You masculine, singular. Ha. Otcha. What if it's female? You're talking to a female. Otach in this case, but yeah, it's not always exactly the same. It can be ach, ach. Okay, now o is him, right? So we said lo, to him. Now if you do it to et, you get oto, exactly. Oto. And then what if it's her? You're saying her. Ota, exactly. Ota. And then us. Otanu. See, it's like mathematical. It's like ot plus ending. Okay. Then yeah, etchem. Yeah. It would be etchem, etchen, and then this one, as I said, sometimes it's hem and sometimes it's am. In the case of this one, it'd be otam and otan. Otam, yeah, and otan. Okay.
Hem, otam, not otam.
Otcha, otach, oto, ota, otanu, otchem, or etchem, etchen, and otam, and otan. Okay, so those are the forms. So like, let's try using them together now with the word, with our simple sentence, using the word love, which can go in both directions, right? So you can say to your girlfriend or to your boyfriend, let's say, you can say, Ani ohev otach. Okay? Ani ohev otach. Now, if you want to say, maybe a male wants to say to another male, you would say, oops, I spelled that wrong. Ani ohev otcha. Now that's spelled exactly the same. But, otach. Yeah. This one is a male and to a female. Well, they're spelled exactly the same. So, and this one is male to another male. Okay. All right. So how do we know this one is male? How do we know that the ani, how do you know ani is male or female, the speaker? Because you see that this is ohev, which is already male. This tells you that the speaker is masculine, right? This doesn't tell you anything from reading it because it can be pronounced otach or otcha. Yeah, otach is feminine and otcha is masculine. Okay, but what they mean the same thing, and they're written exactly the same when you're not using any nekudot, any dots, so to designate the vowels. So, okay, now let's say you want to ask someone.
So wait, otach is to a top.
Otach is you to a girl. You're speaking to a female.
Is a female. Ta is
Yeah. Let's say you want to ask a guy. You want its emphasis is exactly the same.
the vowel becomes before or after the.
Yeah. The vowel is this one for female, this one, it's pronounced otach, and for males it's pronounced otcha. Okay.
So we did the kudo, and now we don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, ot. I think it's like that. Otcha versus. Does that make sense? Versus otach. I'm not sure if it's this or patach. To be honest with you, I don't know. I think it's probably like that. It's like that. That's female. So, yeah. So let's take another example of this. We're going to go do deep dive into these two first. Okay. How do you say in Hebrew, how are you doing today? How are you doing? You say, yeah, that's like what's going on. But you can say like the proper way, the textbook way, right, is ma shlomcha. So you take the word shalom. Right? Now this would have, the word shalom would have the final mem. Right? Shalom. But because we're going to add endings to it, we're going to do the regular one. And now you add the ending, which designates you, which is pronounced cha for a male and ach for a female. So the exact same word spelled the same. Okay, so this is, we say, shlom cha. Whoa, this is a big. Shlomech for a female, okay? So you ask the question ma, which means what? Okay, and then you put a question mark after it. Okay. So, so what did we do here? Right? Before we were taking, we said we had a whole list of pronouns, right? A whole list of pronouns. They have endings that correspond to the pronouns. We were able to take a preposition like le and say, okay, le means to. I'm going to add the ending e to make li, meaning to me. So I attach the pronoun to the preposition and combine them into one word, but it's really two words together, to me. So we say lecha, to you. So in this case, what does it mean? Shlomcha. Shlomcha means yours. And shalom means peace. So it means your peace. What is your peace? That's what that means. Ma shlomcha. What is your peace? But say for a female, you say ma shlomech. Now, if you want to talk about another guy, talk about a third guy. You want to ask, you were asking your friend about your other friend. What would you say? How's he doing? No, ma. No, ma shlomo. Yeah, because the ending for him is o, right?
I thought it was toe.
No.
Oh, it's oh. No, sorry.
It's just o. The t was part of the et. The t was part of ma shlomo, right? So you kind of see how this works. So we're able to add like this ending here that I'm circling here. The o means him. That is an entire word added onto it. What you would write in English as a separate word. And what does it mean when you add it onto a noun? It means that noun is connected to him. That means that's his noun, right? Or your noun or my noun, right? So I can say, So let's expand this to the general rule right now. So let's say if I just take any noun, like a house,